everyone. Welcome back. We have a lot of questions lined up. We have a great show. We have some really good questions for you to see if you can answer these questions. Um, Steve, I guess you know what we could do? We could start with the first question, but first let me just tell you that anything that I say is not meant to diagnose you or replace your medical care. Check with your physician before accepting any of my tips or advice, okay? Because it's not meant to replace that. All right. That being said,
All right, patrons, let's do it. So, our first question is, how many calories does one cup of fiber have? I don't know if that's a trick question, but how many calories does one cup of fiber have? And Doc, take it away as they consider that.
yeah, so this is just a question. I just want to see how much you guys know about this. Um, I just released an interesting video this morning that I want to, and that basically is this. Let me just kind of, I want to just see if you guys have actually watched this video or not. All right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, how to lower your cholesterol on keto. I talked about that. Also about refeeding syndrome, that type of thing. But have some interesting new videos coming up, specifically about the best way to counter damage from consuming refined carbohydrates, which I know none of my viewers consume carbohydrates, but you probably have friends or family that do. And that way you can tell them what to do if they actually accidentally consume some bread and they want to counter the damage. Um, I'm also creating a video on for smokers. If you're a smoker and you want to quit, this will actually motivate you to quit. And it's not any type of negative thing. It's actually a positive thing. How fast your system can actually heal. So we're going to talk about that. Next week we're going to talk about how to unclog plugged ears. So if you actually have allergies or something and you have a plugged ear, your children have that. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it quickly. That'll be cool. And we're going to be talking about, I created a video on depression and the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. It's a whole feedback loop that if it's overexcited, then you can get depressed. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So I have a lot of real interesting videos lined up. Eczema, we're going to talk about the remedy for that. And also, Steve, I think you'll like this one. The benefits of leech therapy, using leeches.
I've been waiting for months for you to come up with that, for goodness sakes. And by the way, your video on allergies is timely because my car was covered for the first time with pollen yesterday
Oh my
morning. So
gosh.
here we go.
Yeah, it's very, very common. I'm doing a series of 3 videos on if anyone, I know this may not apply to anyone watching, but if you have some old bad habits and you want to break them, I'm talking about mainly the food. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. There's going to be a series of 3 videos released. We'll do that. And that's going to be very beneficial and very timely. So, Steve, do we have the answers yet to that first question?
I tell you, we're still working on it. So why don't we move ahead with some callers, which we have up now? I think Linda from Troy, Michigan might be a nice choice.
Yeah, Linda. Did you say
Hi,
Linda?
doctor. Good.
Hi, how are
Yes.
you?
Good. Fine. How about yourself?
Great, thanks.
Doctor, just please a couple of things, and don't answer me yet because it's very hard to get a hold of you. Please, when you suggest like milk thistle or anything, if you can provide us with a good name. I know you're not soliciting for everything, for anything, but when we try to order, there's like the choices are endless. Now, and then my question is for my son. He's 5.5. He's autistic severely. And I watched your clips about autism, the difference in the brain between regular brain and autistic brain. And from what I understood is, for some reason, the unwanted protein in the autistic brain, it's not being cleaned, and that's why it's affecting its functioning. I could be
Mm-hmm.
again saying it wrong, and it's causing all that inflammation. So I wanted to know. Now you explained it so beautifully. Uh, I wanted to know if there is something, a mineral, vitamin, herb that can help get rid of those unwanted protein to decrease the inflammation. Also, I've been giving him CBD with flax seed taste. And then last time when I watched one of your lives, I was very worried because
Mm.
your question was the flex is high in estrogen. Well, he's
Right.
a male, so now I'm
Right.
extremely concerned. But to be honest, I do see some positive changes in him with the CBD. I was gonna switch him to hemp flavor CBD, but then that one is high in omega 6, which is anti, it actually increases inflammation. So I'm really in a hard situation.
Okay,
So if
so
you
this
can
is
help, please.
okay. So here's what I would recommend for him. Silica, a bioavailable silica, very important because that will help reduce aluminum. Okay, so that would be very important. Now, what you're talking about is this protein in the brain is we need to stimulate autophagy. It's really difficult for someone that is that young to do autophagy because you're doing fasting. So at least very bare minimum, don't do the snacking. Just do 3 good meals. That would be good. You could do green tea and green tea supplements will stimulate autophagy. But the other thing you can give him, just to, I think will help, definitely reduces carb because we want to do ketones to feed the brain. But maybe give him some exogenous ketones with some MCT oil just to, help to feed the brain. That's what we need to do. One thing you can do as well, you can actually make some recipes with the MCT oil as some of the oil, put it in the salad dressing too, because the brain will start picking that up and that will help. I think B vitamins are going to be very important. I would recommend my Keto Energy because it has very, very high level B vitamins, specifically B1, that I think would feed his brain real nicely. Cod liver oil is going to be essential for him, DHA. So those are the things that you can do. I will be including some more videos soon, but unfortunately, it's a sensitive topic because if you start putting too many videos on there, especially when you start linking things, which I want to do, they'll censor me. So that's not good. Unfortunately, that's what they're doing now. But as far as specific brands, the problem is if I recommend a brand and all of a sudden now I'm like a little bit liable for that brand. So I don't want to recommend a brand. So the best way to evaluate is just to find a product with the best reviews that you read and it makes sense and it looks legit. So, but reviews aren't always 100% accurate. Sometimes people pay for reviews, which I'm very much against. So, you're going to have to sort them out to just determine which ones are real and which ones aren't. So that's what I'm going to recommend.
Well, that's
All
great. And
right.
Linda, thank you so much for that. And we're not getting any answers back yet. I think we may have hit them a little too early. So I'm going to give it to everybody once more, and then let's do a little shout out. How many
Okay.
calories does 1 cup of fiber have? So, folks, come on, jump on it. You're always so great with your answers. And then let's go over and say hello to the world. A good morning shout out to all of our viewers from Canada, the UK, Malaysia, Denmark, Spain, Hong Kong, Cameroon, India. I love saying Cameroon. India, Pakistan, Mexico, Belize, Philippines, Morocco, France, Belgium, Switzerland, Puerto Rico, Germany, Iceland, Finland, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Borneo, Trinidad, Tobago, the Netherlands, Israel, Taiwan, and all across the United States. That's got to be a record, and I bet we have some others. I just think we've got the world covered, Doc. There's just no question about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's take another caller. How about that?
Let's do it.
Should we go to, how about D from Queens?
D, perfect choice.
Hi, D.
Hi, Dr. Berg. How are you?
Great, thanks.
Doctor, I have started keto way of life since kind of January.
Hmm.
When I saw my physician in November. He told me my A1C level is at 5.8, therefore I am pre-diabetic. So my brother already is a severe case of diabetes, so I'm so worried about this. And I'm doing keto way of life to the T. I fast for 2 days and then I have a meal. If I keep up with this,
Wait,
doctor,
what did you say your A1C was again?
5.8.
5.8?
Yes,
That's not pre-diabetes.
that's what my doctor told me because I was
Um,
5.6 before.
okay, okay, so it went up a little bit, but you should look up the values yourself because sometimes when a doctor says something, it may not be true. So you might want to look to see if that's correct data. If that's false data. 5.8 is still within a good range. That is not pre-diabetes. And
Oh,
it's not. So look it up yourself and then show him to educate him because it's or her because that's not true. Now, if you want to improve the A1C,
yes.
well, before I say that, I have a question for you.
Mm,
Are you, is it possible that there might be some occasional but rare times where you might eat a little more carbohydrate?
I have been.
Okay,
And he told me to cut off all my carbs, which I have done now, doctor. Thanks to
okay.
you.
So I want to tell you something. A1C is
Okay.
an average blood sugar of 3 months. So let's say you're
Yes.
perfect, perfect Monday through Saturday, but Sunday you kind of go off the program and you kind of cheat a little bit. Not that that would ever happen to you, but you probably know people who do that. That it's going to take an average of no sugar to a little sugar. Over 3 months, it's going to show a little higher because it's an average. So it's going to take the time that you cheated versus checking your own blood sugar every day. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm good. And then the day you cheat, you don't check it. And you go back, and all of a sudden it's good, it's good. So it's not looking at everything. So that's why A1C, you can't really cheat. You're still within a good range, but maybe you just don't just be real strict for a period of a good amount of time and then go back and get retested. Okay. So nothing to be concerned about. All right.
Okay, doctor. But the thing is, he also told me my cholesterol is high, which was at 245. So,
Okay.
but my HDL was high, and he put me on Lipitor, 20 grams a night. So, but then I realized I had a brain fog. My memory is very good. I'm 68 years old. But also I had unusual muscle pain, although I have arthritis, but this was very unusual. So when I called the doctor and I told him I'm going to stop taking this, he said, okay, stop it for a month and come back to me and let's check. What do I
Yeah.
do, doctor? I'm really concerned about this.
You need to find a medical doctor who is more keto friendly. And I will put a list on my website soon, but you need to search out that can actually consult you if you're concerned about it. Then they can regulate your medication. But here's the thing. In the 2015 to 2020 dietary guidelines put up by the American Heart Association, hidden because it's not broadly promoted, they no longer recommend limiting your cholesterol, okay, your dietary cholesterol, because the total cholesterol does not really tell you the whole picture. Did you realize that 25 to 50% of all your fat cells are made of cholesterol and it's not used as fuel? So when you lose weight, it has to come out. Your cholesterol might go up, but the type of cholesterol that's going up is not going to be dangerous. I want you to, when you're done with this presentation, go watch the video that I talk about the two types of LDL, the good and bad LDL. I want you to learn that. You need more knowledge on cholesterol so you know what's going on. Unfortunately, the docs are still set sometimes in the cholesterol is bad, bad, bad. Put person on Lipitor, but let's just understand what's happening and find a physician that is going to work with you that understands the problem. That's all I'm saying. All right? Thank you. All right, let's go to Tony from Long Beach.
Hi, doctor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi there. So here's
Hi.
the situation. 2019, I started keto and was doing really well for about 3-4 months. And then I had appendicitis. And my appendix ruptured. The report was some of my colon was necrotic, gangrenous. And so they removed some of my colon. I didn't realize how much until just recently. I'm going to see a nutritionist / chiropractor next week. And he was looking at the report and he said, wow, they took out about a significant amount of your small intestine and your ascending colon. So the problem I have had is I was really kind of okay and still on ketosis till about the end of 2019. The surgery was in June. About the end of 2019, then I started gaining weight again, and no matter what I did, I fell out of ketosis. I really haven't been able to get back into it. I just took my measurement right now, and this is now fasting since like 8 p.m. last night, yeah, and it's 0.2. And so my ranges have been like 0.2 to 0.6. On rare occasion, I'll bump up and I'll get back into it, but I'll fall out right almost immediately. I also don't have a gallbladder. And I really, since that appendectomy, I struggle with most of the time my bowel movements are either full-on diarrhea or just very, very loose. And I have to take psyllium husk powder to kind of, control those. So I'm wondering what you would recommend to kind of help me get back into ketosis. I'm thinking that probably having, a significant part of my tract there gone is, playing havoc with my system.
Yeah, good question. Very good question. I think that when you have diarrhea / loose bowels, you really are lacking the help from the microbes that are supposed to ferment and help you digest and help you assimilate those nutrients. And when you have diarrhea and loose bowels, you lose a lot of nutrition. So that could be a big factor. So you're going to have to be taking more nutrition while you're doing this, like trace minerals, like minerals, B vitamins, because the distal part of the small intestine, the last part, that's the part that they took out because they probably took that out with some of your ascending colon. Now what's going to happen is now you're going to get a lack of absorption for a very specific thing. Now in the last part of that small intestine, it's very specific to helping absorb and recycle bile salts. So I would imagine you are deficient in bile salts. So you probably should start taking some because then now all of a sudden you can't digest fats that well. So there goes the fats, there goes the omega-3, the vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K. So you might want to just start taking some of those with a little bile, not too much, and then take a really good probiotic. And then you're going to have to be careful about consuming too many vegetables, maybe a little fermented, and do a lot of fasting to heal that area. And one last thing I think will benefit you because you had trauma on the right side of the abdomen, lower abdomen. So you could gently massage on the opposite mirror image, the left side. You're going to find it's going to be tender as hell on the left side. And you're like, why does that hurt? Just keep massaging that. That'll actually help kind of counter the and balance you out a little bit. I've done that before and it seemed to work. But yeah, you're going to have to kind of juggle it. And I'll have to create a video on what to do without a full intestinal absorption tract. And I'll make a mental note of that and stay tuned for that video. All right, Steve.
All
what
right,
do we have
Doc.
for the?
Let's remind them again. How many calories does 1 cup of fiber have? And our audience says, or 10% of the audience says 90. 55% say it has no calories at all, and 35% are scratching their chin and saying it depends on the type of fiber. So, do we have any winners today?
Yes, we do. The answer is 0. There is no calories in fiber because we can't digest fiber, even though it's a carbohydrate. It's the only carbohydrate that we that doesn't affect insulin and it has no calories. So, what do we do with fiber? Well, thank goodness we have microbes that help us digest it for us. But they can eat it. They can get the calories. They can get fat on fiber. No, they can't really get fat, but they convert it to certain chemicals that we then use. They convert it to a type of fat. Believe it or not, they turn fiber into fat. So we don't get any calories from that, Steve. It's zero. So the fiber from vegetables, it's listed there. That's why we deduct it from the total amount of carbohydrates to get our net carb. But there is no calories in fiber, Steve.
And therefore, there's really no downside, right? It's all good stuff.
Well, there is some downside because sometimes if you have too much fiber, people don't have the microbes to digest it, so then it could bind them up and create irritation, and it can create constipation, things like that. I mean, try to consume, an overload of fiber, and it can create an issue. So I think that you should always start with a small and then work up to a large amount of fiber. But I got myself consuming about 7 to 10 cups of fibrous vegetables every single day. And that seems to be really good because I get the nutrients and the microbes like it. Other people can't do that much, so they have to do what they can. But you're not going to do 10 cups of broccoli in one sitting or one day. That's too much. So if you're doing non-leafy greens, maybe you have 4 cups a day. But if you're doing leafy green salads, you can do a lot more.
All right, well, that sounds great. Well, Doc, as you can see, Terry cut off my overhead light, which was very revealing and now rendered me handsome again. Isn't that terrific? And let's go to, on that note, let's go to Facebook questions. Annie, do you have any plans to release a macros calculator? I don't know what that is.
Yes, I do have a plan. It's been in the works. I put it on pause because I had to complete a quick booklet that I've been working on that I'm going to release and give out for free to everyone. It's a new booklet on how to make keto really, really easy for everyone. And in that booklet is everything based on that recent survey that I put out for all you guys that filled it out, 9,000 people. And I got some very valuable information from that then allowed me to create this booklet, this ebook, that address the areas that people need help with. And so I think you'll like it. And we're going to release it. I'm working like 24/7 on this book to get it out there. But everyone will get a copy. And so you could learn from it.
Well, that's terrific. And I'll tell you what, this is so typical.
Steven,
I
just wanted to say one more thing.
Please, go ahead.
So parallel to that, I did find, and this might be hard to believe, Steve, that a certain percentage of people are not 100% with keto, and it's because they're having a hard time being consistent and having discipline. So what I did is I created 32 of my own personal stories on how I struggled with that problem, and we'll be releasing those one a day, and it's through text, and it's all audio, so you can learn personal stories how I completely messed up and struggled with that whole concept of sticking to something. And you can kind of learn from my mistakes. Go ahead, Steve.
All right, so let's see. This is so typical across social media. I just thought I'd throw this in. Not a question. Bree Guy says he's 11 months into keto, and he's just simply grateful for this terrific journey. So all those things that you said about people maybe having a difficulty maintaining it, once you get it, apparently it is a great place to be. Stand by, Dr. Berg. We're having a little problem with your audio. Dr. Berg, speak with us.
Your mic just dropped off in the middle while you were talking.
Oh, wow. Okay, Dr. Berg, if you can hear us, stand by for just a moment. I tell you what, audience, we're going to go on pause for just a moment, and we'll be back in just shortly. Okay, audience, stand by. We're going to get this worked out. Just a moment, please.
Hydrates, the refined ones, that is what's causing the liver to become fatty. It's not the fat in the diet, it's the carbs. So keto is not something strange. All it is you're reducing the thing that's converting into fat and cholesterol, and it's very good for the liver. And so you could pull a lot of fat off your liver if you just cut your carbs down. And if you're still skeptical about that, you should just look up in any medical book what insulin does, and you'll see classically insulin is a hormone that converts carbs into fat, okay? And it blocks the burning of fat. And if someone has a fatty liver, what that means is that you have intra-abdominal fat too that's been spilled over into the liver. So it's not a good situation, but it can be dealt with if you keep your carbs lower. If you want to maintain your weight, then you just keep your fats a little bit higher too. All right, good.
All right, we're all back again. We had a little interruption there, and so why don't we go to with our next quiz question, Doc? And it is,
Yeah.
why does hunger go away when you do fasting? Fascinating question and wonderful
Yeah.
answers.
I'm going to see who could answer this one correct. This is an important question. Let's see. Why does your hunger go away when you fast? Because you would think, Steve, if you don't eat, you're going to get hungry, right? Usually when you
Wrong.
don't eat, you get hungry. So, and I'm talking about once you're like adapted. So, okay, so got that question. People are chewing on it. I think we should go to Mary from Belmont.
Hi, Dr. Berg. I have a
Hi.
question in regarding vitamin B because you talk a lot about it.
Yeah.
I have a primary care physician that doesn't really pay much attention to my vitamin levels.
Hmm.
And when things are low, he just says, oh, it could be the test. but I've been showing low vitamin B1 for a long
Wow.
time, but B6 is high. And I'm just wondering, should I care too much about my vitamin B levels, or does it really matter?
How are they testing it? Are they testing it through the blood?
Yes, it's blood.
Fascinating. Well, I think there's an enzyme that they probably are testing for B1, and um, I don't know your values. I don't know how much more B6 you're having. I don't know what you're eating, but the first thing I would do to put some balance in there is I would kind of look at the whole picture, like what could be contributing to that? Are you consuming any refined carbs that could be depleting your B1? Are you consuming any sugar that's depleting your B1? Get on healthy keto. Start taking nutritional yeast. Why? Because you want to take it non-fortified. So that way you have all the B vitamins that are in the natural levels that it should come with yeast, and it's not some major high potency. Um, but that's what I
I
would
am
do.
doing all that. I am
You
doing
are
all
okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I
Um,
was just like, this is just very odd. So I didn't know he's playing it down. So I didn't know if B1
okay.
was something
B
important I need to
B
worry
B1
about.
is it's vital. It's very, very important, and it doesn't really get stored for very long period of times in the body. So um, it's something that maybe sunflower seeds. It's in sunflower seeds. The other thing is that if you're consuming like tea with tannins or anything with sulfates, um,
Oh,
that
okay.
can block your B1. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, because I do drink tea. So maybe I'll start looking at some of the things that I'm eating
Yeah,
that
yeah,
might be blocking that. So thank you.
yeah. You're welcome. I do have a video on that topic. You can watch that, but it's a good question. All right, Steve, do we have an answer to the question yet? The
Yes,
last question.
yes, we do. And that question was, why does hunger go away when you're fasting? And we had a very fast response from our audience, and 50% said because you are using fat as your fuel. The other 50 said that your insulin decreases when you do that.
Okay. Well, the answer is you're burning fat. You are eating. You're actually eating fuel when you're not eating. And if you're eating fat, guess what? You're going to be very, very satisfied if you're burning your own fat. And that's the simplicity of it. You know, guys should know that inside and out, if you've been watching my videos, but that is the answer. And of course, to be able to burn that fat, the whole key is keeping the insulin low. So you were correct on that as well, but it's actually the fat that satisfies the brain um, mostly for the loss of appetite.
Yeah, so 50% of the audience is gloating at the others, but the rest of you are on the right track. So maybe the next quiz. In fact, we're running a little behind. Why don't we go ahead and bring up the next one? And it is,
Okay.
how long does it take the lung to heal when you stop smoking? Boy, that's an important question. It's been about 35 years for me, so maybe you can tell me how I'm doing once the answers come in, Doc. And let's see, why don't we, Terry, want me to do some social media? How about some quick social media?
Yes.
Okay, and by the way, I think we had our little audio problem before we really got to digest this. And just simply to say that this happens all the time in social media. Bree Guy said that 11 months into keto, and he's very grateful for this journey. And that just happens so often. I thought I would just mention that. So thank you, Bree Guy, for letting
That's
the
great.
world know that it really does work. And then David on YouTube, how can I fix my gut and fatty liver at the same time? I think he has some gut problems and worried about that. So with just the keto program in general or intermittent fasting, what can we do for David?
Well, it's kind of the same problem because the reason why the liver is fatty. Did he say fatty liver?
He did, yes. And a
Okay.
gut problem
The,
and fatty liver.
yeah, the gut, the fat in the gut, the intra-abdominal fat is kind of a spill off from a fatty liver. So they're both the same. So the body will then first kind of use up the fat in the liver, and then it'll start to tap into the stomach fat. So it's not a separate program. It's the same thing. You have to go low carb, and you need to, if you're realizing if you're pumping all this fat out, you want, and cholesterol, you want to keep your vegetables a little bit higher, and that will help kind of bind some of that fat and help your liver do better. And also choline, which is in a lot of fruits, not fruits, vegetables. It's also in egg yolks. That will help speed up the process as well. Bile salts, choline, and choline is it's actually in bile salts. It's considered a bile salt, is really good for the liver as well. So um, follow the program. It will work. Give it time. But I think you'll see some significant changes within 6 weeks.
Okay, Doc, I tell you what, we had a little phone issue. Powell from Tampa, Florida got cut off from the audience in any event, and we'd like to go back to him. And he's skinny, but has what? A fatty liver? Yeah,
No, his wife.
Oh, his
His
wife
wife
is skinny. Okay, why don't we go
was
back to
talking
Powell?
about
Go
that.
ahead, put him on the
I,
air there, Terry.
Powell, I think did we answer your question? I think we need to, I mentioned several things about the video that you could search out on how to get your spouse to do the eating plan, the keto. I think you should search that out. But the other thing too is like the it's the carbs that convert into the fatty liver, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. They don't connect the dots. They kind of think keto is a fad. It's weird. It's this or that, but it's really a great way to keep your liver from becoming fatty.
Yes, yes, but you know the question was actually about the fat, what she wants to eat, because you know she's scared about losing more weight, and she wants to
Right.
go to these fat bumps. So I told her to keep
Right.
the meat low with the low portions until your liver is gonna recover, and then you can start gain a little bit more weight, but it's gonna take time. You got a very
Right.
damaged liver, so I just wanna,
Yeah.
I'm trying to call to you because it gonna goes to her mind if she's gonna listen from third party like you, because she's watching
Right.
this right now. So
I think it's a real delicate balance. I mean, the challenge is that we all have, including myself, is when anytime you give your spouse advice, it's not the same as someone else. So you have to kind of use a gentle touch, and hopefully they will they'll jump at it, and if they don't, give it time. And I talk about this in the video. You have to just kind of put it out there, and
yes,
when they're ready, they'll do it. But
yes,
I
yes.
always, but as
And
you already know,
I'm so sorry, but I sent her this video. They listen. You have to listen this because this is our arguing. The doctor said about that. But
right?
okay, the second quick question. I'm sorry for take your time about my son. He's actually addicted from sugar. He's almost 4 years old. He's got almost every single symptom of high insulin in his body,
Hmm.
and he stopped eating, you know. He eat the veggies before when he was young. He eat all entire, food what we eat. But right now he's stopping and he looking, for sugar, for cheese,
Yeah.
for something. And I trying to explain her that she must to cut him off. And the second
Yeah.
problem is, that on the kindergarten they feed him, with this, snacks and all kind of things, and that is the second problem. But the first thing, we cutting him off from the sugar right now because he is, he told me, hey, listen, Paul, he got ADHD. I don't know what I can't help him. He's stressed. He's mad. He's bad boy. And I told her, hey, listen, cut him off from sugar and give him time.
So this is a video. I'm going to do a video on this because this is important. It's not even just your own family. You want to first of all, get your spouse in agreement with this, getting the kid off sugar, and then you're going to have to just keep it out of the house. What we did is we educated our kids. It worked to some degree, but get them involved with making keto bombs, have replacements for the sweets. That helped a lot, cookies and things like that. But it's when they go outside, that's when they have the problem. So, you know, there are certain schools that won't do that, but you're going to have to talk to the teachers and see if they can make the shift, because this sugar is just making the kids with a lack of attention. So it's creating the problems with study and all these other things. So it's definitely a problem that we all need to try to help solve. All right, Steve.
Yes, sir. Okay, so
Um,
our question was how long does it take the lung to heal when you stop smoking? And our audience came in with the following. They said 40% 2 years, 5% said 3 months. Come on, guys. 55% said 5 years. What do you think, Doc?
okay, so these little cilia in the lungs that help push the mucus out. If you can give up smoking for 9 months, you can start to see some significant improvement in the lung tissue. 9 months, 9 months. But here's the thing: after 1 year, your risk for heart attacks go down by 50%. So, as you can see, if you were a heavy smoker, it takes quite a bit of time for those lungs to really come down, and also your heart as well. Within 5 years, the arteries finally fully open up because it creates constriction of the arteries, except for the coronary that actually opens up a little more, but everything else is kind of constricted. So you get more circulation and you get a decrease of blood clot within 5 years. And then 10 years, your risk for lung cancer goes down by 50%. And then eventually by 15 years, Steve, which I think you're past that, your risk of cardiovascular disease is now equal a non-smoker.
Boy, that's
So
exciting.
yeah, so it takes time, but realize that within 20 minutes, you have an improvement in heart rate and blood pressure. Within 1 day, you have no more carbon monoxide poisoning in your lungs. And then within a little bit longer, your risk for heart attacks go down. So it happens quick. And I will be releasing a video more on this coming up soon.
And I'll tell you one other thing, and that is that when you're addicted to cigarettes, you want one every 15, 20 minutes if you're really slamming them down. And that means you can't sleep because you go to sleep and suddenly it starts tapping you on the shoulder and says, hey, you got to have a cigarette, got to have a cigarette. I know some people who get up in the middle of the night. I didn't, but I just didn't sleep well because I was going through withdrawal all night. And I never realized how much better sleep would be once you quit smoking. It took me a while to kind of realize that, but boy, that was fantastic. It really tortures you all night because you're constantly in withdrawal. No fun at all.
If you look at the benefits of smoking, you feel relaxed, you feel less stressed, but you're actually not really truly less stressed. All you're doing is you're satisfying a nicotine addiction, excuse me, for a minute, unfortunately. So that's kind of what people are stuck in. It's not a true relaxation state. That's why you can't sleep. I think we need to go to Nancy. She's been waiting patiently. Are you there, Nancy?
Nancy from North Carolina. Is that
Hi.
who you're Hi.
Yes, that's you. That's right.
Thank you so much for taking my call. This is a real treat. I just am new here and tapping into your information, and I'm so grateful that you offer it.
Great.
I'm 70 of age, and I have a low thyroid, adrenal issues. I've had 5 children, hysterectomy at 45 years. I need to lose the 20 pounds that I started gaining right about age 50, and I deal with insulin resistance. I've been on and off just about everything possibly I can to try to bring down to my normal weight, 115. And as I said, I need to lose 20, yet I deal with, again, the thyroid being low and the adrenal issues, very precarious for energy if I overdo exercise, that sort of thing. How can I lose it? I would love to be able to have a program that I can follow by looking at every day what it's telling me to eat, how much, what to take, because, again, I've got overloads of supplements and eating plans from A to Z. And I've also overdone my metabolism because of stressful ways of eating, like 500 calories a day for 6 weeks at a time, various intervals of this.
Yeah.
And
Okay. I got it. Thanks, Nancy. I think this is the combination of what I'm going to be releasing really, really soon, which is a kind of a little PDF booklet of what you're going to get. But here's the thing you're up against. You have a combination of past menopause, low thyroid, adrenal, history of dieting, insulin resistance, slow metabolism. So what you have to do is you have to fix the insulin resistance. That is going to fix the metabolism. How do you do it? Two things. Bring your carbs down as low as possible, eat healthy, and fast as long as you can. Now, that combination might seem complex, but I'm going to be releasing this booklet to kind of give you visuals, simple ways of doing it to let your body then reduce the appetite and go longer and longer and longer. And then the longer you go, the insulin sensitivity starts kicking in there, and all of a sudden your metabolism starts to kick back in. So it's a combination. I would go to my blog and start with video number 1 and 2 and 3 and just keep it simple. But the two things that you need to focus on are keeping the carbs way down and fast. Keep increasing your fasting period of time and realize that keto is not in any way, shape, or form dangerous to your thyroid. It's actually very beneficial to the thyroid. It doesn't do anything bad or damaging to your endocrine system. It enhances it. Very good. So, Steve, I think we should go to another question.
I agree. And our next question is, as we age, does our, I guess, average body temperature go up or down? I've got an answer for that, but I'm not spilling the beans. So get on it, audience.
So as you get older, does your temperature go up or down on average?
Okay. And by the way, we've been neglecting Facebook a little bit. So which one did you think right there, Terry? Okay. So Donna on Facebook, what do you take for your hair? It looks great. And she's not talking about me. Trust me. That's for you, Dr. Berg.
I don't take anything for my hair. It's just I eat exactly what I tell people to eat. It's keto. I'm pretty strict on that. And I do a lot of healthy fats in the meats. I do omega-3 fatty acid, a lot of fish. And I do a lot of vegetables. And so that's with all the phytonutrients. And that's what I do. Nothing special as far as topical or taking any supplements at all for hair specifically. But of course, I do get the trace minerals and things from certain nutrients. But
and then Karen, of course, looks like a lioness with her big full hair. So you guys must be doing something right.
Yeah, Karen has some nice hair. She has some nice curls as well. So that's it. She has probably the perfect combination of everything that someone would want in their hair. Versus mine, it's really straight. It's out of control sometimes.
Ah, it looks great.
Okay.
How about one more, Jerry on Facebook? What is a safe amount of eggs to eat daily?
Eggs have a built-in regulator of the cholesterol. The antidote to cholesterol is lecithin, and it's loaded with lecithin, and choline, which will help to reduce the cholesterol. I would keep it like, 3 to 4 eggs a day. That's fine. If you want to do more, you can do more. I kind of, lately I've been switching to different things because I'm only doing like 1 meal a day now. I may not do eggs. I may, but of course I raise my own chickens, so that way I can actually. It's pretty high quality. I mean, the pasture-raised chicken eggs have an amazing amount of omega-3s compared to commercial chickens, because they're eating bugs and things around the yard and that type of thing. But I think there was a while there I was consuming 4 eggs a day for probably 20 years, and I liked that. But now I'm kind of switching it up to different things. Just for the fun of it, but I can pretty much eat the same thing every day. But I love eggs, and I put onions and mushrooms in my egg omelets as well.
Wonderful. How about Jacob in San Jose? Been waiting patiently.
Yes, Jacob, you're on.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Berg. It's great
Good
to be able to talk. I'm one of your younger viewers. And I just had a few questions, okay?
Okay.
So I'm around like the age of 14, and I just had like a couple of questions on like weight loss. I've been pretty overweight for the most of my life, and I've been trying to make a change. And I know your channel is more based on like keto, and I just like had a question on like if you had any suggestions, like maybe if I had to like lower my carbs or higher my carbs, or maybe or like adjust my calories a bit, or like I wasn't sure, like what would you suggest?
Oh, okay. What's your goal? Is it just weight loss?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the fastest way, Jacob, to lose weight is to do the keto plan because it's low in carb. But the key, if someone's struggling, is to also add the intermittent fasting. So you don't want to eat so frequently. You don't want to do the snacks. Um, and so, the good thing about you is that you're probably it's going to be a lot easier because you're younger. And I think if you did a combination of two good healthy meals, and explain how to eat that, and I wouldn't worry about the calories right now. I would really just focus on keeping the carbohydrate calories as low as possible, and you'll start losing weight. And it's the fastest way because both of those actions, not eating so much or frequently, and also the carbs, lowers the hormone called insulin, and that's the thing that stops you. So I think that would be your best bet. And if you go to like drberg.com, look at the blog. I show you start here, step one, step two. So that's going to be your best bet, Jacob. Try it out and then call us back, okay?
Boy, that's great. I tell you, a young man like that, 14 years old, starting to take his health seriously, I think that's terrific. Hope more follow Jacob's
I
lead.
wish I would have started at that age. Yeah, I know.
No kidding. And by the way,
okay.
we do have an answer to our quiz, although I'd like to scold the audience. We haven't had nearly as many participants in answering today as usual, and yet our numbers are huge. We've got a record on YouTube. So who knows what's going on. But for those of you who did answer, 100% said that your body temperature goes down, and that's what I've discovered.
Yes, that is correct. In fact, the average temperature, someone that's right around 85, is 93.5 degrees. But it can even go down to, 80 in the 80s, believe it or not. And that's normal. The problem is when people get sick and they get a fever and they're older, it might actually come to 98.6. It could be normal. And so you can miss it because it's really not normal for them. Just make note. But realize a fever is a good thing, and you don't want to try to suppress it right away. It's your body trying to fight off things, pathogens. But yeah, that's just what happens. Our body temperature decreases, and that's normal. Okay, it's not a bad thing.
Well, that's great. And Doc, I hate to keep bullying my way in here, but it's time for another question. Got to get them out. And now come on, audience, let's answer this. What is the best way to repair damage from refined carbs? How are we going to do that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, let's say you, did I already answer this question? No, I didn't.
No,
I
not
didn't.
yet. We're leaving it up to the audience, so don't tip them
All right,
off.
good. Yeah. Let's say, for example, not that any of you would slip off the program, but let's say your friends or family. What would you do to make up the damage? That is the question today. And while you're chewing on that, should we go to Crystal?
Let's do it. Crystal, you're up.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Berg. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm diagnosed with Lynch syndrome, mutation MSH6. I have endometrial cancer stage 1. I've read the cancer code, and I've been juicing for about a week, but I've been a personal trainer. I've been a model before. I've been on restrictive diets, the whole thing. People at Montefiore, my doctors, they want to take out my thyroid. They want to take out my ovaries because from the information I've gathered from your videos, I'm a mixture of the adrenal and the thyroid body type. And I'm wondering if keto would be sufficient or keto and juicing. What's your perspective?
Okay. Did you say you still have cancer now or you had it?
I had it before and I'm re-diagnosed again with it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, cancer is damage in the mitochondria. So anything you do to strengthen the mitochondria is going to be key. And I think at this point, out of everything you can do, the most important thing is going to be regular intermittent fasting at 1 meal a day and periodic prolonged fasting. And I'm going to explain. So if I was in your shoes, I would be
Yes,
having
sir.
one meal a day, Monday through Friday, and the weekends I wouldn't eat.
Mhm.
48 hours, no eating. And then
Okay.
every month, or if I could do it every 2 weeks, I would go 72 hours. And the reason for that is they found that 72 hours, you actually stimulate the immune system stem cell and you basically grow a new immune system, which is what you need help with right now because you want to have all the help you can get to fight this thing off. Um,
Okay.
but I think um, as far as to support your endocrine system, it sounds like you need endocrine help overall, adrenal and thyroid.
Okay.
Keep your stress as low as possible. Do all the things that I suggest with keto, and
Right.
that fasting is going to be vital, vital, vital. As far as nutrients go,
Mhm.
you might want to write this down. A couple
Okay.
things that you want to get, and one would be alpha lipoic acid.
Okay.
You want to also take hydroxycitrate. You want to
Okay.
take garlic on a regular basis, either actual garlic or in a tablet form.
Okay.
And the last one is green tea. Okay, green
Okay.
tea.
Got it.
Um, and as far as the first two ones I told you, you need a lot of that. Like start small and build up.
Okay.
I'll actually have more available data on that soon, but that would be your tip today for today.
Thank you for your time, sir. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, Doc. Boy, am I proud of the audience. They just hammered us with answers this time. What is the best way to repair the damage from refined carbs? And 60% say fasting. Speaking of fasting, we have 20% with keto, 10% OMAD, 10% cut carbs. And I don't want to leave Mary out on YouTube. She simply said vitamin B. So how are we doing?
Of course, everyone's right, but I want to explain what I'm going to do a video on this. But basically, you have these refined carbohydrates, okay, and they're going in the body and they're being used up as fuel by your engine. It's called the mitochondria. But when you do refined carbs, you overload the system with too much of the wrong fuel, and that produces a huge amount of oxidation and free radicals. And so the problem is those refined carbohydrates are void of antioxidants and nutrients that act like antioxidants. So you basically get all this extra damage without the protection. See, if a diabetic were to consume fruits, they might still be a diabetic, but the antioxidants would help counter a lot of the collateral damage. And I'm not saying do this, I'm just kind of giving the concept that the nutrients in the foods protect against the complications of a lot of issues. So if you were to eat more antioxidants, vegetables, things like that, herbs, green tea, garlic, that would at least repair some of the damage and counter some of the damage. So, Steve, let's say you want to go off the program and you want a big bowl of, let's say, cereal with some, and then you have a bowl of ice cream, and then you have some chips.
Right now?
And you just, yeah, let's say you did that, and you wanted to make up the damage. Right after you consume that, have a big, huge bowl of salad. Okay? Get your antioxidants. How about that? Or better yet, blend it all together and take it in a shake.
Ice cream and kale. All righty.
Yeah. Let's go to Bonnie. Bonnie, you're on.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Berg.
Good morning.
Thank you and all your staff for all your hard work, first of all. My question for you guys, or for you, years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic iritis. And what happened was, when that happened, my iris stuck up into my pupil, and it's never really came down. And recently, I would say really within the last 6 months, in my right eye, I've really lost almost all my vision. If I were to hold a card up and try to read it and close my left eye and read with my right, I would not be able to see any any letters. I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on that, and can it be fixed?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple things that you can do. And I think you're already on strict keto, so that's good. And I think I'm guessing you're doing fasting. That would be something I would definitely do because the fasting helps to clean up some of that old damaged proteins that seem to be affecting you. But there's another product that you could search out to try to find. It's from Standard Process called oculotrophin PMG. Oculotrophin PMG. It's from Standard Process. You can order it. Take one of those before you go to bed. And it's a really good remedy to support any problem with the eye, even the damage that I had with my eyes, which I had extremely bloodshot, sticky eyes, and I had issues with cornea breaking and things like that. It seems to quickly repair that because I've had a long history of eye problems. And that seemed to be the only thing that worked. And it's dramatic. It's within like 10 minutes. So for other people, if they scratch their cornea, and it could be devastating, that oculotrophin gives people relief. So that's one thing that I would recommend if I were you. All right. On that note,
I tell you what,
we
Doc,
reached the 12.
we have, but
Yeah,
guess
go
what?
ahead.
We're going to do a quick recap of the upcoming videos, some of which you discussed. Breaking Old Habits is coming up, part 1 and 2. How to unclog your ears. The 6 stages of fasting and the worst diet advice in the world. That sounds pretty fun. So, Doc, take it away after that. And, folks, you watch for those videos coming up next week or very soon.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend and stay tuned for some real interesting videos.